Did you know that the trial of the Ukrainian rent boys for the alleged arson attack on Prime Minister Keir Starmer's properties began at the Old Bailey recently? Yet the mainstream media remains curiously quiet about it. Could it be that the mainstream media didn't want the public to see the Prime Minister in a bad light and have his character scrutinized ahead of the local elections? Or were they gagged? We are going to examine this trial of great national significance based on information coming out of the courtroom. In light of what's been happening, we will see how the principle of character without compromise matters for the survival of our nation. Let's get into the details. The prosecution's case hinges on a baffling claim that the Ukrainian rent boys had never heard of the Prime Minister and had no prior knowledge of his properties. This raises a massive red flag. If they did not know who he was, how did they manage to target and firebomb his vehicles and residences in different locations? Are we expected to believe they just accidentally stumbled upon Starmer's former homes and cars? And let us not forget that these are properties that Starmer no longer uses because he now resides at number 10. So the random acts not intentionally connected to Starmer argument does not stand. It simply does not add up. The prosecution has even stated that the defendant's motives are irrelevant to the case. Think about the implications of that. If these individuals carried out this attack as a reaction to a heinous crime committed against them, that evidence would be barred from the courtroom. By deeming the why irrelevant, the court effectively silences any potential facts about the relationship between the accusers and the target. The case even gets more theatrical. The prosecution claims that these men were recruited on the social media app Telegram by a Russian-speaking figure known as El Money. Does this sound like a genuine investigation or a conveniently almost comical cover-up designed to shift the blame away from a personal scandal and onto Russia, who seem to get blamed for almost every problem Britain has since Starmer took office? Why would a Russian operative recruit Ukrainian rent boys for a high-stakes arson attack instead of professional criminals? And why are we only hearing about this mysterious El Money now, well over a year after the events took place? The narrative is full of holes. What we have here is the need to operate by the principle of character without compromise. And yet we see compromise, or at least perceived compromise, on the part of Starmer in his prime ministerial capacity, the legal and justice system, and the media. This principle demands that we examine each area closely. A leader's private life is never truly private because it dictates their public integrity. Leaders must be beyond reproach. If there's a skeleton in the closet, that leader becomes a liability, open to blackmail and compromise. When the details of a leader's life do not add up, the stability of the nation is at risk. When you do the right thing, there is no need for a cover-up. There is no need to blame others. You are willing to defend yourself by your character because actions speak louder than words, as they taught us from childhood. Character without compromise is one of the true tests of leadership. And no matter what academic qualifications or years of experience you have, if your character cannot stand to be tested and proven, why should we trust you as a leader? Justice is not just about whether an act was committed, but why. When a court deems a motive irrelevant, it risks becoming a shield for the powerful rather than a sword for the truth. True justice requires that all facts be laid bare, especially when the case involves the highest office in the land. This is why jury trials must remain. The government wants to scrap them, but without juries, justice can be weaponized and manipulated to suit the desires of those in the system or the party in power, as long as the judges align with the ruling party. A system such as the justice system is only undermined when those who operate it fail to uphold the standards it is meant to enforce. In a free society, the media's duty is to act as a watchdog, not a lapdog. When the mainstream media remains silent on a trial involving the Prime Minister, they are failing their primary principle to inform the public and hold power to account. Some say silence is consent. Others would say it is an indication of being complicit and compromised. The reason fueling the media's compromise is a question for another time. You've heard my views. Now let me hear yours. Share your thoughts in the comments. Is this perceived compromise by the Prime Minister the legal and justice system, and the mainstream media a bigger threat to our democracy and the governance of this country than we have been led to believe? If you have benefited in any way from this video, please subscribe, like, share, and be sure to leave us a comment.